Hello! It has been a hot minute since I have posted a video on here, I know, and this is a very different kind of video, but it has been cooking in the background for a while now. If you like this potential new direction with the content, then please let me know in the comments below. Good thing Ibu is here because today's video theme is all about spooky month. It's her month, it's her day, so special. While I was planning to kick off this new era of the channel, I realized that it was fitting to utilize everyone's favorite holiday, Halloween. Now, horror content is something that I usually avoid like the plague, but I wanted to break tradition this year and actually try some horror video games. If you watch my Twitch streams, then you will not be very surprised to know that I am not exactly a horror pro, and the only game I regularly play is Neopets. And the only thing that's horrific about that is the economy, am I right? The two people watching that might still play Neopets will understand what that means, I'm sorry. But like I said, this is the month of new beginnings. And after one of my very best friends pleaded and begged for me to try something like Resident Evil 4 or the new Silent Hill 2, I have decided to start with, drumroll please, brand new indie horror game Crow Country that released earlier this year. Listen, I do plan on eventually tackling some of the classics and more well-known survival horror games, but this game felt like it was meant to be where I was supposed to begin with the horror genre. I mean, it's also inspired by both Resident Evil and Silent Hill, so it's sort of starting with the classics. The reason why this felt so right to me as well is, despite being a complete and utter baby when it comes to horror media, I have a deep obsession with theme parks. It's like a safe place for me to start. In a way, I can pretend like I'm walking around Roller Coaster Tycoon or something, you know, just like on the first person mode. It's chill, it's fine, I'm fine. Apart from its setting, I was also absolutely drawn to Crow Country due to its graphics being a heavy homage to early PlayStation games. And I spent my whole playthrough being charmed by its visuals. But do not mistake this game for being cute, because this is a spooky game after all. Just like you are a spooky cat. And despite being terrified from start to finish, I am proud to say I am officially a survival horror professional. Okay, well, maybe not quite yet. But what I am confident about is that Crow Country was the right choice for my first ever survival horror experience. If you're in the same position that I was earlier, where you want to get into more horror games but unsure at a starting point, I cannot urge you enough to pick up Crow Country. It's a pretty short game. I beat it in like about 6 or so hours, and I usually take forever in games, so quite frankly, I'm just as shocked as all of you watching. But you all better be as proud of me as I am, because this game does get freaky. Something's definitely gonna happen. Something's gonna pop out. I knew it! Now, I may be a Neopet streamer, but jokes aside, although it did take me time to get used to the rules and mechanics of Crow Country, after about an hour or so, I started feeling confident in navigating everything. Okay, but enough about me, because I haven't even told you guys why I love this game and what it is. Crow Country is about Special Agent Mara Forrest investigating the abandoned theme park of Crow Country. Oh hey, that's the title. The park was closed down a couple of years ago, and we spend our adventure unraveling what exactly led to it. This may be a bold take, but I think it's something about zombies. Or haunted animatronics. It could always be haunted animatronics. The park's owner, Edward Crow, disappeared, and finding him is our primary goal. It's very evident that he's behind however all the monsters took over Crow Country. But I'm not gonna spoil the story in this video, despite the fact that I love spoilers. Partially because I love this game so much and want the rest of you to experience it as well, but honestly, also because Crow Country's story is so rich and there's so much of it to unpack that 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 would warrant a whole separate video. Let me know if you want that. If there's any complaint that I have about the story, it would be that while I love the game's cast of characters and found every line of dialogue fascinating, the game is so short that it made me sad that we didn't get more out of Crow Country's characters. But honestly, I feel like that might be one of the best gripes to have with the game, that it's so good that I actually wanted more from it. Also, we can't talk about the characters without acknowledging Mara Forrest, who we play as. I love her so much. We could not have gotten a better protagonist. And at the start of the game, there is this fairy animatronic where we get our first key from, and this fairy actually comes back later in game, and Mara thanks her for helping her out earlier if you talk to it. Aww. Mara is just such like a kind-hearted soul and will give you so many moments of her being really sweet, and it makes you think like, hey, if she can go through this horrifying theme park experience, then like why can't I? Crow Country's strongest elements also happen to be the scariest, so that would be its sound design and environment. And frankly, I actually really wanted to listen to the soundtrack in my downtime, but it is so damn effective that I actually can't. I feel people often forget just how important a game's sound design is to the overall experience, and I was beyond impressed with the quality of the sound from this short indie game. And you know that a game's soundtrack is going to terrify you when even the save room music is eerie. I mention sound design and environment in the same section because all of the music and sound effects really strengthen Crow Country's setting and bring it to life. The game taking place in an abandoned amusement park is one of the main reasons I was interested in the first place, and it delivers. Part of why I can be so forgiving of the game being so short is because by the end of the game, you really feel like you have conquered the park. It is such a satisfying conclusion after exploring every nook and cranny of all the areas. My least favorite area would definitely be the underground section. Just feels convenient for progressing the story and is too disconnected from the actual theme park environment. But honestly, it's a pretty short section compared to the rest of the game and easy to figure out, so it doesn't like hamper the immersion too much, thankfully. It's comparable to these staff hallway sections that make me feel like I've just no-clipped into the back rooms. Like, Jesus Christ, this game is so creepy. Like, look at this. But on that note, my favorite area of Crow Country by far is Ocean Kingdom. I was so excited to talk about this place. I immediately fell in love with it. Anyone who watches my streams will be very confused right now because my biggest phobia is actually sea creatures. But that didn't stop my favorite section in Tokyo Disney Sea being Ariel's Grotto, so I don't know why Ocean Kingdom and Crow Country can't also be my favorite section. And you know, like most of the time, water sections of games are like the weakest, but Ocean Kingdom encapsulates everything I love about Crow Country. When I first entered the area, the watery sounds and the color tint change made me think, like, for a brief moment, have I been transported to like another dimension? Now, that may sound dumb, and you know what, maybe it is, but this area feels like so otherworldly, with like this sea creature shadows on the floor, and like it immerses you so effectively, and it excited me so much to see everything that the area had to offer. This game is so good! Now, I've talked a lot about this game being pretty short, and while I would say that like a between 4 and 8 hour game is definitely on the shorter end, it actually didn't feel that short during my playthrough. And a big reason for that is how lost I got in the game's immersion, and another big reason being how much of this game is solving puzzles. Crow Country's puzzle difficulty will range from super easy to frustratingly cryptic. However, I mentioned earlier that by the end of the game, you will feel like you've conquered the theme park. And that is mainly from the fact that you will spend the game leaving no stone unturned to make sure you solve every puzzle. And this is the section where we need to acknowledge one of the game's most bone-chilling and terrifying elements: doing math. Quite a few of Crow Country's puzzles are solved by codes that you need to figure out through a variety of different methods. And while these weren't my personal favorite puzzles, I'm definitely not mad about them being a core part of the game. It forces you to pay close attention to every detail and even question what is or isn't going to be useful to progression. Some of them are pretty obvious to figure out, like in the gift shop you find a locked cash register, and right next to it is a list of toys within the gift shop. I don't think you need me to tell you that you need to unlock the register by figuring out the prices of all the toys and inputting the number. And you always feel rewarded by being able to figure out and decipher everything by clear progression. You just might have to pay a little bit more extra attention than you're used to. Crow Country has easily been one of my favorite games that I've played all year. And like I said at the start of the video, I desperately wanted to make my first jump into the survival horror genre, and I was like really worried that, I don't know, I just like cry or rage quit or like something just wouldn't click for me. But I am so happy to say that Crow Country surpassed my expectations, and it was just an incredible experience. I would also recommend Crow Country even if you have played a lot of survival horror. It borrows a lot from other games, but it manages to be like so creative and unique. I promise you will have so much fun with it. And hey, if you're concerned about the game being too easy, there's actually a difficulty option in the settings before you start, and there's a hard mode for all of you survival horror pros out there. Or if you're like me and new to the genre, there's also an exploration mode where apparently you just don't get attacked at all. I'm definitely considering replaying it on this mode to digest the story and environment more without being worried about being attacked. Although I am very happy that I played this for the first time on normal mode, because it made me feel really accomplished by the end. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but the game is very generous with handing out ammo and like med kits. Like you'll find them in most rooms, and there are vending machines throughout every area that will give them to you as well. I only noticed like 3 times during my playthrough where I ran out of ammo, and the vending machines always gave me exactly what I needed. If I'm able to beat this game without ever playing a survival horror before, then I completely believe that anyone watching this will find it fair and accessible. So be real with yourself. If you don't want to play it after hearing me talk about how awesome it is, like frankly, what is wrong with you? I also strongly urge you guys to go follow the Crow Country creators over on Twitter and show them some support. They deserve it after making such an amazing game. In general, indie devs put in so much work, and they deserve a whole lot more recognition and love than they currently get. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and before you go play Crow Country, please consider subscribing or going over to support me on Patreon, where I post all of my cosplay content. Do you guys think that I should maybe cosplay Mara Forest? Let me know. If you want to see more videos like this, then please also tell me what you think of this new direction for my channel. I have a few other videos being worked on in the background that will be released very soon. Also, a massive thank you to my editor Cherry for all of their help with this video. We are super duper excited to show you what we've got planned for the future. That's all, folks. Have a wonderful day / night wherever you are in the world, and go play Crow Country. Ma te wa.